Thank you for staying with us on the program Sunday Politics on Channels Television, the nation's news leader. We have joining us on set now the former presidential candidate, Chief Dele Momodu, joins us to discuss the issue of cost of governance. Many thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let me start by asking you, the Emir of Kano, we played that soundbite just before you earlier in the program. He was talking about just how overbloated the government is and that we cannot afford the running of 36 states, 36 governors. They have commissioners in all of these states. We have 36 ministers and all of that. Do you think that we have an overbloated government?
Oh, without any shade of doubt. I had always advocated for a leaner government. Unfortunately, due to selfishness on the part of most of our politicians, everybody wants to be a governor, everybody wants to be a senator, everybody wants to be in the House of Reps. So nobody wants to sacrifice anything for Nigeria. But the truth of the matter is that the Emir is right. I support his views, and something would have to be done ultimately. Otherwise, we will all perish. It's so sad, when you hear educated people today with all the problems of Nigeria arguing that I still want this state, I still want that state. In fact, I heard someone in the Senate last year saying he will fight for some new states with the last pint of his blood. And I'm like, are you for real? Why would anybody advocate for more trouble for Nigeria? We have more than enough.
So you think more states will be more trouble for Nigeria?
Oh, certainly.
In this sense?
Certainly. If I would have my way, we'll go back to parliamentary system and we'll go back to the regions.
Do you think it's cheaper?
Oh, it will be far cheaper. Just the same way you have listed all the people in government at the moment. If you have 36 governors, you are going to have 36 deputy governors. You are going to have SSG. You are going to have head of service, if possible. You are going to have all manner of commissioners,
and special advisors, assistants,
special assistants, drivers. You have to buy vehicles for everybody. Okay, look at the National Assembly and how much it costs Nigeria. That could go into education. That could go into power. That could go into agriculture. That could go into, but today, what we're doing practically is to share the money amongst
all right, but Mr. Momodu, we've tried the parliamentary system in the past. We've had several constitution changes over time, and now we are practicing the presidential system. Wherein does the problem lie? Is it in the system as it's being practiced, or the people who make up the system?
I used one word earlier. We are all selfish. Everybody is thinking, oh, if there is a new Oduduwa state, for example, maybe I will have a chance of being a governor. If there is a new Oyo state, then maybe I will have a chance of being a senator. So everybody is thinking about what's the need for me. And for as long as we remain that selfish, and nobody is thinking about the country, that look, we can't all be in government. And if you are in government, you are not going to be there forever. So why must we continue to pour petrol into our fire? Which is what we are doing. Every Nigerian knows what is wrong with Nigeria. Everybody knows the solution, but nobody is ready.
Okay, so how then can this issue of alienation from the state to and the desire to get self-gratification, how can this trend be changed? Because it seems to have degenerated over time.
You see, I would say we already missed the boat. We missed it with the military. You see, with the military, if you had a benevolent dictator with a clear vision and a clear sense of direction, it would have been a lot easier. Because then you would have been able to apply some force. The military comes, says, turn right, turn left, and it is done. Now it is more difficult. I'm a very practical person. It's going to be difficult now to persuade any state. You see, because we are going to do it, it has to go back to the National Assembly. So you are telling the Assembly that, sorry, we're not going to have House of Reps and Senators again. We're going parliamentary. Nobody's going to agree. So the people who can do it are already enjoying power and it's going to be difficult for you to convince them.
President Muhammadu Buhari says before he came into power, and I quote him now, he says over 90% of Nigerian budget is on recurrent expenditure. There must be much money available for capital expenditure to provide more infrastructure in our industries that will attract investments and develop the country. If you look at what goes into the budget of the National Assembly, is about 3% of the total budget of the Federation. It is said that a Nigerian senator earns about 240 million in salaries and allowances. What about their colleagues in the House of Representatives? They said they earn about 204 million naira in salaries and wages annually. That's about 2015 budget, in the 2015 budget, which of course Senator Melaye told us that they've cut that budget, 150 billion, by 30 billion. Would you suggest that we run a part-time based government in terms of, for example, the National Assembly? Would you suggest that they go on part-time?
It's actually part-time in reality. If you look at the number of times they sit, you see, but the thing, as I've said, is that until our leaders at the top sit on the round table and agree that this cannot continue, there's nothing you and I can do about it. Even now, if you talk to people in President Buhari's government, they will tell you, oh, we're being blackmailed all around because we're not giving money and sharing money out like it used to be. But it's good that, okay, maybe the present National Assembly is doing its best to reduce, the cost of governance, but it's not going to be easy, because to start with, the number of people in government and in power makes it impossible to cut it beyond. Because don't forget that some of these people must have their constituency allowances. People are waiting for them in their constituencies. They expect you to come home over the weekend and come and distribute rice, distribute motorbikes, distribute generators. So when we blame those people, we must also be realistic that those who sent you to the center are also expecting you to come back home to give them something. So this is where the problem is. But until we reduce first the population of those in government, the operatives, you cannot reduce the cost of governance.
Mr. Momodu, we are in in a dire economic situation in Nigeria, and maybe I should just put some of the statistics to you so that Nigerians get a sense of just how bad things have been. Our foreign reserve has dropped to about $30 billion. Foreign reserve per person now goes to about $350. And again, if you look at it, oil is gone to about $40 per barrel now, luckily. A Nigerian worker will receive just about a minimum wage of about $100. That's 18,000 monthly. But if you look at the ratio of what a government official in Nigeria earns to the ratio of the population of Nigeria, is incredibly too. Do you think we are overgoverned?
Oh, there is no doubt about it that we're overgoverned. There is no doubt about it that an average Nigerian is still dreaming of getting his own appointment. That's the truth. Because, again, most people think the quickest way to make money in Nigeria and the most guaranteed way is to be in government. If I say I know the solution to it, I'll be lying. But until our leaders agree to say, okay, let's reduce this thing, why must we want to practice capitalism without capital? Okay. Which is what we're doing.
But the challenging days are already upon us as it is, and the issue of changing the pattern of mode of governance, it's not something that can be done overnight. You've raised quite a number of issues, and you've talked a lot about Nigerians always wanting to be at the top. Nobody wants to serve. Social orientation or reorientation is, how can this be ingrained into our polity so that the trend, the cycle does not continue? This government will leave tomorrow and the vicious cycle continues.
No, it's even much worse than that.